Hello, everyone. My name is Quodicia DeVay Johnson, also known as Quo Johnson. I have the honor of hosting this month's Let's Talk Opera. This time we are joined by the wonderful, the fabulous, the amazing Nicky Parrish. Hello, Nicky.
Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm
Of
I'm
course.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, yes. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to get into some conversation. We're going to talk about opera. We're going to talk about
Okay.
voice, talk about music, talk about humanity, all those beautiful things in this particular episode. So, of
Okay.
course, first, Nicky, I'd like to start by having you share more about yourself. Tell us, who are you? Tell us about yourself, about your work. And then I'd like to know what got you into singing.
Well, I'm just a little country girl from Little Rock, Arkansas. I am the oldest of three girls, of the late John Parrish and Lois Parrish. Um, I am a proud graduate of Central High School. Go Tigers! And and I really thought that I was going to have an excellent career in sports, but God had a different plan. So I I would say that music has always been a part of my growing up in my household. And my mom is an excellent singer, so I learned a lot from her. So when I broke my ankle playing basketball, the inspiration to start singing is when I sung at my first wedding in my walking cast. And that's when it started, just kind of like just going from there. And then from there, a lot of people didn't know I could sing. And so I received a scholarship from Philander Smith to sing at Philander Smith Choir, and traveled singing background with Smokey Norfolk for 7 years as background singer. And still locally traveling, still locally performing here and traveling, singing with about 6 or 7 bands in Memphis, quite a few bands in Memphis. Yeah, so that's it. Just a little country
That's
girl from
it.
Little Rock.
Yeah, yeah. 6 or 7 bands. That's it. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
I,
it's it's a blessing. I tell you that
yeah.
much.
I'd love to know just what you said people didn't know that you could sing, right? So some it was like this hidden gift sometimes or
Yeah,
something. And then you were singing at a wedding. So people heard you singing, but what gave you the confidence to from an athlete and also an artist, right? That we don't need to separate the two. You were an athlete,
right.
then became a vocal artist. What was that like?
Well, let me go back. In junior high school, there was a lady named Sylvia Clay, and she is a well-known musician, vocal teacher. She the late Sylvia Clay, and at that time I was in band. When she heard that I could sing, that's when it's funny. It's funny we're talking about opera. The first song that I sang in public was "The Greatest Love of All." And it was three of us, three girls, and the during the time we started singing, a lot of the other two girls got scared, so I ended up singing the whole song. Then we moved over into high school where everybody has known me to be the biggest tomboy ever. And I entered the school talent show and I did my first song, and it was a Stephanie Mills song. And a lot of people were shocked then. So it was kind of like I was nervous, but I never really just kind of pursue it because I was really all about sports.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to take me around to different talent shows. And when I broke my ankle, I couldn't drive. I broke my right ankle, and I was in a cast for about a year, a walking cast. So I started entering talent shows, winning a little money, and that's because my mom would take me around, and that's what made it kind of like sink in. Okay, this is probably what I need to continue to do because I can't play ball anymore. Them
Right,
days
right.
are over. Yeah, yeah.
Nice, beautiful. May I ask, as an artist, what has been one of your or some of your most memorable moments?
Oh wow. One of them were I had an opportunity to perform for the NAACP National Convention,
Mm.
and then from there I got invited to perform for a week in St. Thomas. First time I've ever been overseas. Well, I wouldn't say overseas. I had to get a passport. So winning Showtime at the Apollo is another one. And singing backup for Smokey Norfolk was a great accomplishment because I was the only person actually coming from Little Rock that traveled with him the most.
Mhm.
And that's really about it. I mean, I've had some opportunities to open up for quite a few artists, and just really my still a memorable moment is to be chosen to sing. You know, it's a blessing to actually do this as a profession. You know, to stay on the road and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of singing and things that are coming up, you will be doing the tribute to Whitney Houston. This is a
Yes,
powerhouse of a voice. This is a global
the golden voice.
icon,
Yes,
the Whitney Houston, and you are doing a tribute with Opera in the Rock in
yes,
February. Coming up.
yes. Coming
What
up
are your
right
thoughts?
around the corner.
Right
Yeah.
around the corner. What are your thoughts and feelings about it? This is Whitney.
So I have a lot of mixed emotions. One and I think it's more anxiety and hopeful, and I'm so happy to be in the musical director. But I have a group of local professional artists,
Mm-hmm.
and they are amazing in their own. They can shine on their own basically. And so when I called them to come and for us to come together, they were like, "Oh yeah," they were for them to say that they would love to do this with me is a blessing because, we don't get opportunities this much,
Mm-hmm.
to showcase talent. And I really wish that we can get back to more of that because I feel like the art of being a vocalist or being a musician is kind of it's like taken away from us. So we don't get the
Mm-hmm.
chance to express in our own way. So
Yeah.
to pay homage to an icon, a diva, Whitney Houston, oh man, I just considered a ultimate blessing to me, to showcase that because we're putting on a production. It's not just a sing a song, and then we end it. We're actually putting on a production like an award show. It's going to be a great show. So, and then we got a few surprises too. That's
Mm-hmm.
in between. We have some rappers. We got a female saxophone player. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be an amazing show. But Whitney Houston, the voice, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I don't have the words to explain how excited I am about showing to give back to the diva
The diva.
herself.
The diva herself.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes, yes.
For this particular season, Opera in the Rock is showcasing, is honoring, is celebrating just Black culture in music and in the arts, in opera as well. And then we have here in popular culture, which a lot of pop music comes from the Black community in the United States, of course, most of it does. We have this tribute to a diva, like you just said, to Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston is an icon for so many, and there are a lot of other Black artists who are as well. Can you share a bit about some of your other kind of musician heroes, sheroes, some of the people who've inspired you and continue to inspire you?
Oh yeah, and let me jump back to answer your question. Whitney Houston music is timeless.
Mm,
her time on this, she has broken so many barriers, and her music transcends into all walks of life. Like
mhm.
everybody knows Whitney Houston. I think it's a must that we must know our history so we can know where we come from.
Yeah, yeah.
Because back in the day, that was real singing. What no auto tunes. You had to sing the song right from the beginning to the end. And nowadays, we can become a little lazy, but to pay for Whitney Houston, Patti LaBelle, James Brown, Ella Fitzgerald, who has the same birthday as mine.
Oh, come on, Ella. Yes.
I just think that it's a must that we must know where we come from in order to pass it on to the next generation and make sure we keep those memories, those people who paved the way for us to keep their spirit alive. Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
Gladys Knight, oh man, she's an ultimate diva. Singing in front of her on that stage at Showtime at the Apollo was just speechless. But a lot of divas, and I think we're missing those divas, you know, the kind of divas that we should have that really just set the tone. When you hear their voice, you know that's them. You know that's their voice. You know they set themselves apart. So yeah, it's so many people I can name off. Karen Clark, LaShawn Pace Rose, Kim McFarland. You ever heard of Kim McFarland? Yeah. So yeah, it's in Ella Fitzgerald, Diana Washington, Nia Simone. You know, it's just so many people, because I don't limit myself. When I grew up and coming up in my household, we didn't have a but you don't listen to type situation.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. So we were always, you know, I was always open to all styles of music, which I do, you know, when I'm traveling and we're doing the corporate gigs or we're doing the weddings and stuff. We do a lot of jazz. We do a lot of pop music and the Motowns and the old school stuff. So, and it's good to be able to do a lot of that, you know, so we can, and you can make it your own. So yeah.
Yes. I appreciate that. The structure of the music and composition in so many ways allows you to make it your own while still honoring those who created the work. In a lot of ways, opera, right? Let's talk opera. So let's also talk opera. In a lot of ways, opera, in the focus on storytelling, may not allow for the same type of flexibility as much as it allows for stars or for singers, for principal roles to just shine. This is how I tell the story. This is me. This is my voice. Just like you said, this is my voice. I hear it. I hear that person sing. I know who it is. In so many ways, we have so many of the greats in opera and so many up and coming artists as well. What connections do you see in the possibilities of opera as we continue to center and to celebrate Black identity, Black culture? What do you see us, and where do you see us going?
Well, I'm hoping that we could actually see more of it. You know, we don't have a lot of Black artists. I haven't seen them that's been at the top, that's been shown the most. You know, we know they're out there, but we don't see them. Also, one thing I do know about opera, even when you don't understand some of the language, or, you know, the beauty of opera is that the feeling you get when you hear the pureness of the voice, you know. And I feel like with that type of technique and that type of that feeling, you know, it can also transcend into other genres of music. And I'm just hoping that we can get back to showcasing us on all levels of all of because, you know, we're and I know we're talking opera, but opera gives you the tools that you need, the techniques that you can use, the sustain the voice, the long notes, the big amplified, you know, sound that comes out, the natural genius. I mean, because, you know, it takes a lot to do all that. And I do hear that, you know, to sing that type of music, you have to use your entire body. So it's nothing to play with, you know. So I can see us. I wish that we can showcase that more, because it's just a beautiful way of singing. I think that it's needed. I think that it also give us the right way to sing, the responsibility, how to take care of your voice. I can just see us doing more of that and it being acceptable, just like ballet, you know, things like that. Because you got jazz and hip hop, so why not try to infuse all of that, you know?
And the ability and the eclectic nature, as you said, you kind of mentioned, in how you grew up listening to all this different type of music, all these different artists, and the ways in which opera brings together all of these art forms. It brings together the visual arts, it brings together theater arts, it brings together singing, there's orchestra, there's choreography, all of these things come together to make up one work, or to represent a bunch of works, right? And opera being the plural of opus, which means many, many works. When we look at the opportunity that is there. There are singers who are present. There are singers who have always been present, but just like you said, they're not always presented at the forefront.
Right,
So
right.
I appreciate this season of Opera in the Rock because it does start to not just showcase, but it starts to kind of remind everyone of, oh, Black folks been doing this since it came to
Absolutely,
these shores here in the United States. Black people have been
absolutely.
present in opera and in music and in storytelling and in pop culture. So many of these things
Yes,
are definitely hooked into how we live, how we express ourselves, how we work together, how we learn. All these beautiful things come together. And
and
then,
most importantly, how we
yeah,
survived as well.
how we survive and how we thrive.
Yes,
How we get to a space of
yes,
thriving, how we celebrate, because it is not the most pleasant of stories and experiences, and what that means for us to take our experiences and to create something beautiful with it.
yes, yes, yes.
And as we look at the way that Opera in the Rock has kind of put together this season, it's it's showing and showcasing that opera, that popular culture, that storytelling, that music and musical icons, so much of it is present. And it's present in all cultures, right? This is the year that we're focusing on Black culture and Black identity.
Right, right.
And as we bring these beautiful things together, and we're looking ahead for the Whitney Houston performance coming up in a couple of weeks, can you let
Mhm.
me know, how are y'all preparing? You say you putting together a band,
Oh, yeah.
you have other beautiful, amazing professional artists coming together. What are some of the things that are gelling for y'all? Are there moments that are very meaningful for y'all in this preparation process?
Well, one thing I know for sure after talking to each individual, we've all have gone through so much. After COVID has hit, a lot of people have taken a lot of loss. They've lost a lot, losing loved ones, and it's kind of like one thing about music is a great form of healing. You can really find some joy in some good music. So putting these people together who actually can actually do it themselves. um what was told to me is that we need this.
Mm-hmm.
We need some type of positivity going on, and to make this a special night, they're just willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. um the thing that the idea for this show was to showcase Whitney's overall music ability. And what I mean, like where she started.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they do a tribute, they don't really hit on the gospel part of her.
Ah.
And so, and not to give the whole show away, but when I tell you the beginning of this show, it's going to shock some people.
Nice.
Because, huh?
Nice. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's um the vision that I had. I just wanted to give an overall back down memory lane of Whitney Houston, and make, and hopefully people will remember how she started and how she arrived to become the pop star. And Whitney really just, like, the things that she did with the Dolly Parton song.
Yes.
She just changed the whole world. So that's really the idea, is to have one night to take people out of their issues, whatever they're dealing with at home, and to have at least a couple of hours of fun and just reminisce and dance and just remember everything that they loved about Whitney Houston from her music. So we are getting together. We're having musician rehearsal. We're having vocal rehearsal. We're having lead vocal rehearsal, because we got a few background singers that's going to sing lead as well. So it's
Nice.
yeah, it's a nice thing. And with the help of Corey Harris, who was the musical director, um, he said that first part of it is just going to be popping. And then my vocal coach, who I've been with Carlos Chappell for about 10 years. He's the vocal director. And so we just kind of making sure that we do our sections and then we come together. It's all going to gel. It's going to be a nice night. Yeah.
Do you have, and you don't spoil it for us, right? You don't have to tell us the program, don't tell us the lineup, because this is a surprise. But do you have a particular piece that you're performing that is your favorite? And do you have a favorite Whitney Houston song?
So, and you know, I kept saying, if somebody asked me that, her category is, all of her songs are all of my favorites. Okay. I just can't, it's just hard to pick one in particular. But if I had to pick one, it would be the I Will Always Love You. I actually sang that song and won on Showtime at the Apollo singing that song. So, but I just don't have one favorite of hers. But yeah, that would probably, if I had to pick one, that would be the one. Pick one. Nice. The other songs we're doing,
don't spoil it. No, we'll be really there to see it. Yeah.
Yes, you have to come because like it's some of the stuff that we're doing, like we're changing up some of the music to where they'll be like, oh, that's what that, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be an amazing night, and I just hope that everybody come and see it. We'll have 2 nights of it for sure, and please make sure you get your tickets because this is going to be a great night. I mean, I'm excited just to be a part of it, just to be around and see all of it come together. And when they see that the talent that's going to be on that stage, it's going to be like, wow, we didn't even know that exists here. No, really, because these people are bringing it. And then I pray that they show up. Little Rock, come and support our own people.
Right here in Little Rock.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing how you're preparing for this amazing experience that you are kind of curating for everyone. Can you tell us some of the amazing talent that will be showcased that night, who will be on stage, who will be guiding us through this wonderful journey?
Well, I'll just give you a little hint because I really don't want to give a lot away. But again, we have at least 8 singers and at least 5 lead. 2 of those lead singers is TikTok sensation Najee. She's the one that sings "Go Lay Down." I mean, if you go out there, you'll see different versions of her song. Nice. And we also have American Idol contestant Nia Renee. She's I've met this girl at the age of 16, and she was already singing Tamela Mann stuff. So she has such a huge, powerful voice and can really like sing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are, so you definitely want to see those girls sing outside of the other major singers that we have on stage too. So
beautiful. And you know, thank you for giving us that little "Go Lay Down." Thank you, thank you for giving it, letting us know what you're working with and what we have coming up and what we should be excited for. Can you tell me, how do you care for your voice? How do you care for yourself? You talked about being in multiple bands. How do you make sure that Nicky and your instrument are both taken care of?
So I can't really give you like the actual format. I do know what works for me is one thing is because I've been singing for so long, so it definitely takes a lot of practice to develop a stronger muscle. Mm-hmm. But I knew that once I came off the road with Smokey Norfolk, I didn't want to lose what I had. So a friend of mine told me about Carlos Chappell, my vocal coach, and I've been with him for about 10 years. Carlos is the guy, the best kept secret. Maxwell wanted to take him on road with him. Kiki Sheard wanted him. So, and he's going to hate me for telling you it's about, because he doesn't really like a lot of attention. But make sure you get enough rest. I really don't eat a lot before I sing because certain foods will coat your throat, because I sing real high and real low, and I do female and male songs. So there are times when I can do 4-hour gig nonstop, and so just treat your voice like your body. You have to work it out to keep it in shape. But then you want to also make sure you learn the techniques and all the things that you need to do so you won't strain your muscle. Drink plenty of water. I'm telling myself that because I don't do enough of that myself. and and make sure you get enough rest. And just be confident in what you do. Just be confident in what you do. That's just a simple way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You kind of talked about it a bit, that you want people to be able to kind of dance, to enjoy themselves, to put aside other things and enjoy themselves through this tribute to Whitney Houston. Are there any other things or any other emotions, any takeaways that you hope people kind of leave with in experiencing these beautiful 2 nights in February?
But just like when Whitney's talked about the greatest love of all, that's all we want to do is just show some love from that stage. You know, what comes from the heart reaches the heart.
Nice.
And that's basically what we want to do. We just want to give people an opportunity to just let their hair down and just enjoy themselves that night. Nothing in particular, but just know that every song that Whitney has ever done, we're trying to squeeze in.
That's a lot. And y'all gonna make
but
it.
We're gonna end. But we're gonna make sure that everybody gets a part of Whitney, because we're not gonna leave one song. I don't think we have a song that she has out there. I mean, she has a lot of them, but all the popular ones, definitely. You know, we're gonna come down somebody's lane, and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that one." And you know, it just kind of takes people back, and they remember, like, I remember that song. What you know, what were you doing at that moment when that song came out? You know, that's the kind of impression that we want to give. You know.
Thank you for sharing. And so my final kind of questions, because it's likely going to split into multiple questions. You talked about how beautiful it is to perform, right? To sing, to be a vocal artist for a living. And I am sure there are many others who would like to do the same, who would like to engage in any type of art form, any type of particular dream, if you will, for a living, or at least on a consistent basis. Do you have any advice for someone who's looking to do the same?
So the only advice I can give someone, what was given to me, and that was from another local artist who has been around. Because that's, let me go back. That's another concern I wanted. I want us to build the bridge between, I wouldn't say us old folks, because I'm not that old, but the millenniums. Like, I really want us to make sure we bridge that gap. Yeah. But if I had to give any advice to anyone, is to really push for them to be themselves. I don't know. Sometimes you can see an artist, and based on, I don't know if it's a decision from their management or the record label, but a lot of artists lose themselves or their creativity, their own creativity. I just strive to be me, and I want to make sure I give all of Nicky from that stage. So if I can give any advice, just make sure you be yourself. Work on what sets you apart. You know, what is your it thing when you hit that stage, and not try to, I mean, you learn from, you look at, I mean, like I'm inspired by Pat LaBelle, but you try to look at it like, okay, what can I do to have that kind of presence? You know what I mean? So yeah, just be yourself. Really work on being yourself.
And my final question, it is 2023. And as you mentioned, just with the pandemic, with past years, just in experiences, it's been a lot of different things have come our way. A lot of different things have moved outside of our view, right? Outside of our own experiences, outside of our lives, in different ways. What do you hope 2023 is? We're in January, so we can set the pace for the rest of the year. What do you want 2023 to be for yourself and for others?
For myself, well, I have a new EP coming out.
Oh.
And I'm looking forward to releasing that. I'm actually planning to do a concert. It's been long overdue. I've worked with a really, really good producer. He's currently in Atlanta. He's actually from here, but he lived most of his life in California, and now he's in Atlanta. But the kind of music that I'm releasing is a little bit of jazz, a little bit of pop, a little bit of hip hop. You know, it's a combination. I don't like to be stuck in a box, so I'm praying that my music, when it comes out, that the people will enjoy what they hear, because it's definitely created for all walks of life.
Nice.
There's not one song, and I've let a few people hear it, and for them to say that they love all of it, it's like grown folks but still young. You know, it's just a combination of stuff. So yeah, I'm either gonna, I have a title, but I haven't really decided two names, but yeah, it's coming out in April. I wanted to release in April around my birthday.
Nice.
And then just still continue to reinvent myself. I'm hoping to do more production shows like this because I have so many ideas. I really want to showcase more talent from here to get back to that, because we have such a rich history, you know. And I feel like we need that. We need to push more of that, so the up and coming artists won't be so lost or feel like they're not being supported enough. You know, because there's room for all of us out here.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so very much for spending time with me for this episode of Let's Talk Opera, Nicky.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for putting in the work and for making sure that you're showcasing local talent right here from Little Rock. It's so important that we have these spaces, and then it's so important that people see and that they know that this is an opportunity, this is a possibility.
Yes. Thank you. I want to thank you for having me. I don't take any of this lightly for granted, because, you know, it's a blessing to be chosen. And thank you for helping me reach some people that don't know, they've heard of me, that don't know about me, and to spread the word, you know, that we're bringing some good music. So please make sure you get your tickets. I'm praying that that we have a good showing, because I promise you will not be disappointed. You're going to hate that you missed it. So it's a 2-night show, the 11th and the 12th. Right. So please make sure you get your tickets.
And you heard her. You don't want to be the person who missed it. Don't be the person who missed out on this amazing performance. February 11th, February the 12th. If you don't have your tickets, get them. If you have tickets, get more and bring more people.
Yes. Let us make you proud. Let's show up and let us make you proud, please.
Beautiful. So, Nicky, we look forward to this amazing performance and this wonderful experience that you're bringing to all of Little Rock. Hopefully, we'll see you soon at this amazing space. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.